Hey boys and girls, Squee913 here, how's it going? Welcome to my new Let's series called Let's Read Lone Wolf. Now I know a lot of you probably clicked on this just to find out what the heck this was all about, so let me give you a brief explanation. Lone Wolf is a series of books written by Joe Dever back in the 80s, and I loved them as a child. Do you guys remember those Choose Your Own Adventure books? Well, this is a Choose Your Own Adventure book on steroids, for a lot of reasons. It was the best written set of Choose Your Own Adventure books. Not only did they have combat charts and systems and a system to actually have combat. You had skills you would choose, you had an inventory, you had gold, you had everything, almost like the closest you could get to playing Dungeons and Dragons by reading a book. And most importantly, it was a continuing story. There's 20 books in the Lone Wolf saga, and they're all following the life and adventures of Lone Wolf. And if you start at book 1 and go all the way through, it's quite an epic saga. It's really, really fun. And I've always wanted to share this with you guys, but I've had no idea how to do it because, well, they're books. But I think I finally found a way, and the geek in me is so excited. What we're going to do is there's a webpage called Project Aeon, which I found recently. And basically what happened was Joe Dever basically released his books to the public for download and for reading, and they have online versions of all 20 books, not to mention some more he wrote that's based on the world of Magnamund. I think that's how you say it. So here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do. What I'm going to do with you guys, and I think this should be lots of fun. I've had a lot of you tell me that I have a fairly pleasant speaking voice, and I'm going to take you at your word for it. I am going to read these books. We are going together create the character Lone Wolf. I'm gonna in the first part I'm gonna show you how everything works. But basically, you have you have a combat skill, you have endurance points, you have disciplines. You have like 7-8 disciplines to choose from, and you have to choose a certain amount, and they help as the adventure goes along. You have weapons that you're proficient in. You have a backpack with meals, and you have weapons that you're carrying. You have special items. You have notes that you can take. You have money. You have this is just your money. And then you have your combat system, and I'll explain how all this works later. And then, of course, I have a dice roller so that I can roll, because that's how the combat system works. So, we're going to create Lone Wolf together. I'll get more into that later, and then I'm going to read you the books. And every time a new book starts, you guys will be able to influence how he grows and changes as a character. And I think this will be a lot of fun. It's new. I've never seen anyone do anything like this before, and it'll be a lot of reading on my part. But I thought about it for a long time, and really, what is Let's Playing if not talking? And I read pretty much every line of dialogue in Baldur's Gate 2, so I should be able to do this. And what I'll do is, every week, I'll upload at least an hour, maybe more, maybe less, but at least an hour of the book, and I'll be able to record it. Now, it's all online. So you'll be able to read it with me, or look at the pictures, because there are pictures in it. And like I said, I'll record all of this, and then you can watch along. And of course, there's hang on. Like for example, let's go here. And the way this works is, you read it, and then you turn to whatever page it tells you to, depending on what choices you make. Oh, I killed myself. And there's also pictures, so it's not like you're just, reading text. Depending on where you are in the story, there's pictures to follow along with, and this will, and these will come up as we get to them. So basically, we'll make the story, and then I'll read the story, and then we'll go through every book. And how far we go depends on how much of a appeal this has to readers. I think it'll be interesting enough. Also, when I finish each book, I'm going to upload a audio version of it only for download. That way, if someone wanted to listen to this, say, like an audio book, which should work rather well, they could just download it and put it on their iPod or whatever. So, yeah. And we'll go through all 20 books if people want to. The story is a lot of fun, and like I said, it's continuing, so you really got to read more than just one book. And your character grows and changes as the books go along, so it's a lot of fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to start the first one now, and that way you guys get an idea of it. And then what you'll do is you'll go to my website to to vote on, what skills you want, and we'll get into that in a second. Let's see, what else do they have here. I wanted to see if I can show you a little bit about the world we're going to be in first. Can I view it online? Ooh. So yeah, if I come to major decisions in the book, they don't happen in every book, and but sometimes they happen more than once in a book. But sometimes there'll be major decisions, like a path to take or a major choice you have to decide on. I might stop the book and let you guys choose that path. Of course, I won't do it for every single page. That would be silly. I'd read 5 seconds and then be done. But if there's a major decision to be made, I might stop and I might let you guys vote on what we do to make it a little more interactive. But for the most part, the interaction will be how the character changes and grows. And this is not loading. Hang on. Well, what I was just trying to load up, and I'm probably not going to do it now. There's a book, a companion book, that gives you all sorts of details about the world that Lone Wolf is based off of. The Magnamund Companion. It's a world that was made up just for the books. And you can go to the website. I have a link to the website, the Aeon Project, and you can go here and check it out. It's a PDF, and it has everything you could ever want to know about the world. Maps, all the nations that are on it. Long story short, our character is going to be from a land called Summerland, which is, I don't know, I won't be able to find it. You can look it up yourself. But there's a race of evil beings called the Dark Lords that are attacking the Lord of Lights, or the Lands of Light, and the book will get into it. If you want to know everything you could know about it, you can, like I said, go to the website and they have all the books you need there. Also, if you want to just download these books and read them for yourself, you can go there as well. But if you want to take part, then let me go ahead and get started and show you guys what this is, what I'm talking about here. So we're going to start at the first book. There are several series. There's the Kai, the Magna Kai, and the Grand Master. And the New Order, I've never actually read the New Order. That'll be fun if we ever get there. And basically these are different series, different stages of his life, basically. The Kai is the first one, the Magna Kai is the second, the Grand Master is obviously after he's become a Grand Master. And the rules are different for each one a little bit. It changes and goes. But we're going to start with book number 1, Flight from the Dark. And here's the way it's going to work. At least for this episode, I'm going to be reading all the introduction and rules. And then on my website, I'm going to have a bunch of voting charts for you guys to vote on character skills and all that good stuff. I'll already do what is randomly done through dice rolls and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to be using StatKeeper Pro to keep track of all this stuff. Gosh, I need to find out how to save this. But I'm sure there's a way. And like I said, there's stats here. If you want to, on the website, you can hunt for them, and if you want to follow along or just print them out for your own use, or etc., etc. All right, hang on. I don't want to read that part. I want to go to table of contents, and let's go to acknowledge the story so far. All right, so here we go. The story so far. In the northern land of Summerland, it has been the custom for many centuries to send the children of the warrior lords to the monastery of the Kai. There they are taught the skills and disciplines of their noble fathers. The Kai monks are masters of their art, and the children in their charge love and respect them in spite of the hardships of their training. For one day, when they have finally learned the secret skills of the Kai, they will return to their homes equipped in mind and body to defend themselves against the constant threat of war from the Dark Lords of the West. In olden times, during the Age of the Black Moon, the Dark Lords waged war on Summerland. The conflict was a long and bitter trial of strength that ended in victory for the Summerlandine at the Great Battle of Macken Gorge. Also, I should mention here, I butcher names of any kind. I have trouble pronouncing common names like Bob, so, you'll have to bear with me on this. I'm not a professional audiobook reader. King Unlar and the allies of Drunor broke the Dark Lord armies at the pass of Moitura and forced them back into the bottomless abyss of Macken Gorge. Vashna, the mightiest of the Dark Lords, was slain upon the sword of King Unlar of the Summer Sword. The Sword of the Sun. It's a very special magical sword that killed the Dark Lord Vashna. Since that age, the Dark Lords have vowed vengeance upon Summerland and the House of Unlar. Yeah, pretty standard beginning to any fantasy novel. Now it is the morning of the feast of Fermarn, when all of the Kai Lords are present at the monastery for celebrations. Suddenly, a great black cloud comes out of the western skies. So many are the numbers of the black-winged beasts that fill the sky that the sun is completely hidden. The Dark Lords, ancient enemies of the Summer Learning, are attacking. War has begun. On this fateful morning, you, Silent Wolf, the name given to you by the Kai, have been sent to collect firewood in the forest as punishment for your inattention in class. As you are preparing to return, you see to your horror a vast cloud of black leathery creatures swoop down and engulf the monastery. Dropping the wood, you race to the battle that has already begun, but in the unnatural dark, you stumble and strike your head on a low tree branch. As you lose consciousness, the last thing you see in the poor light are the walls of the monastery crashing to the ground. Many hours pass before you awake. With tears in your eyes, you now survey the scene of destruction. Raising your face to the clear sky, you swear vengeance on the Dark Lords for the massacre of the Kai warriors, and with a sudden flash of realization, you know what you must do. Eat ice cream. Lots of ice. Okay, no, you know. You must set off on a perilous journey to the capital city to warn the king of the terrible threat that now faces his people, and then eat ice cream. Yes? Sorry. For you are now the last of the Kai. You are now the Lone Wolf. Oh, we are off to a fantastic start, aren't we? Not only are our people all wiped out and we're the only warriors left, we're the runt of the bunch. We were gathering firewood because we suck at what we do. Hell, we can't even run right. Hey, look, a tree! Let me go slam my face into it. That'll help everyone. I should point out that this is not going to be a dramatic reading. The whole point of this is to be very laid back. It's to joke with you guys. It's to share a fun experience with you guys. So I will be joking and having fun with this, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. If not, then I won't get a lot of views, and I'll know to stop the silliness. Hopefully, I'm expecting this to be very light and laid back. You guys can follow along or put it in the background and just listen to it while you do other things. That's my hope for you guys. Okay, so now on to the important stuff, the combat rules. You keep a record of your adventure on the action chart. During your training as a Kai Lord, you have developed fighting prowess, which is a combat skill, and physical stamina, which is your endurance. Before you set off on your adventure, you need to measure how effective your training has been. To do this, ignore these instructions and use the internet. Basically, as I showed before, I have all the stat keeping stuff I need, and I'm using a dice simulator, 10-sided dice simulator, to simulate my rolls. So first thing we gotta do is find our combat skill, which is basically I roll a random number and then I add 10 to it. Ha! I found a better version of the stats keeper. I was having trouble getting it to work. So there's an online version that comes up right next to the story you're reading. You can save all your information. It'll be fantastic. So I'm not going to read all the rules per se because I know them all. I'm just going to explain how they work, and that'll be a little easier and faster. First, you got to take care of your combat skill. You choose a random number 1 to 10. They have a random number roller right here, and then you add that to your your combat skill. You add 10 to that, and that is your combat skill.